you there when they crucified my Lord? Were you there when they crucified my Lord? Oh, sometimes it causes me to tremble, tremble, tremble. Were you there when they crucified my Lord?
Welcome to the Monday of Holy Week as we meet the second of the people who are at the cross. She was there practically from the beginning, yet we seldom notice her. The only time we see her boldly step out of the shadows, she is advocating for her sons to have places of honor at Jesus' side, sitting at the right and the left hand of his throne when he comes into his kingdom. She is the mother of two of Jesus' closest friends, two of the most famous disciples. Her name is Salome. And in Mark 15, verse 40, he identifies her as standing with some of the women who watched Jesus as he breathes out his last shout. In Mark, this list includes Mary Magdalene and Mary, the mother of James and Joseph. In a similar verse in Matthew 27, Salome is not named, but the mother of Zebedee's sons is listed. Zebedee is the father of James and John. And scholars generally agree that this woman in Matthew's gospel is Salome in Mark's gospel. Mark tells us something else important about her and a number of other women that are standing at the cross. Mark 19:41 says, "In Galilee, these women had followed Jesus and cared for his needs." Salome. Her name only appears in Mark 15 at the cross and in Mark 16 at the tomb on Easter Sunday. She was going early in the morning to care for the body of her beloved Messiah. She did not know that he was not there. But even though her name is only in these two places near the end of Jesus' story, she was in fact one of the first followers of Jesus. She was with Jesus from the beginning of his public ministry in Galilee. She was faithfully behind the scenes, providing food and water and looking out for Jesus' needs. We often talk about the 12 disciples who gave up everything to follow Jesus. We imagine a band of 13 men wandering the countryside, preaching and healing as they went along. Perhaps we think that food and lodging just suddenly appeared from the generosity of strangers, or perhaps it did sometimes. But more likely, there was a group of hard-working women thinking ahead, anticipating what would be needed, and providing for Jesus and his disciples. And Salome was one of these women. She walked the roads with Jesus. She heard his words, saw his miracles, and then lovingly prepared the meal, washed the clothes, mended sandals, bought supplies, and cared for Jesus. She was one of Jesus' followers, and she was just as essential to the work as Peter, James, and John. And so it is within the kingdom of God. There are some who always seem to be out front: pastors, worship leaders, musicians, program leaders. But they are not the whole of the kingdom, nor even the majority. Often unseen and yet ever faithful are those who serve the needs of Jesus. Those who care for the needy and the broken and the vulnerable. Those who, as Jesus said to the sheep in Matthew 25, those who feed the hungry, give water to the thirsty, befriend the stranger, clothe those who are cold, tend to those who are sick, visit those who are in prison. And here's what's challenging to me. As a pastor who is often the one who stands out in the front, at the cross, except for one of Salome's sons, all the rest of these front men fall away. None of the other 11 are at the cross with Jesus. And after Jesus is dead, they are hiding in an upper room, afraid of those who murdered Jesus. Salome and the women, they go boldly to the tomb to care for the body of Jesus, not caring who sees them. The boldness of a mother who would ask Jesus for a special place for her sons in Jesus' kingdom becomes the fearless faith of a woman who is unafraid to stand at the cross and weep for the Messiah she deeply loved. She is not afraid to be numbered among the followers of Jesus, even while Jesus is surrounded by his vengeful enemies. She was fearless and she was faithful to Jesus to the very end. And so she is a powerful witness to faithfulness in the face of great opposition. Her faithfulness calls us to boldness, a boldness to devoutly serve Christ even when no one is watching, a boldness to be faithfully committed to Christ even in a world that is hostile to Christian faith.
Were you there when they crucified my Lord?